You're now listening to TSC Rapid Fire on the PRO Media Network.
What's going on, sports world? This TSC Rapid Fire. We're talking about the LSU Tigers in this edition. Of course, the Rapid Fire session coming at you. LSU news, of course. We're going to talk about the Tigers right now. Of course, a bunch of things happen out there in Tigerland. It's not looking very encouraging. A couple of guys getting in legal trouble with the Tigers. Of course, a couple of quarterbacks. Of course, it was a 4-man race. Now it's a 2-man race as Larcease and Justin McMillan have chosen to transfer. Now, Justin McMillan was blocked by LSU from transferring to SEC schools. He ultimately settled for Tulane. He announced that quite recently that he is transferring to Tulane, and more than likely he'll fall behind Jonathan Banks, who's the established quarterback right now at Tulane. So that's interesting that they can block him from going to SEC schools. About to bring in DC, and DC is going to work with me on this Rapid Fire Tigers edition. So DC, you heard about the Justin McMillan news, my friend, and the fact that LSU did block his transfer. All other news that's going on in Tigerland right now. What story in particular is ringing out to you as far as the Tigers are concerned?
I say the story to me that rings out the biggest, would have to be the reinstatement of Christian Fulton, because I mean the other stories that are ringing out all negative. So this is actually a positive story. We get back a pretty good cornerback that's been out fighting a 2-year suspension for violating a drug test where he told them he smoked and they weren't even looking for weed. They was actually looking for steroids, so he told on himself and all type of trouble. But all that's behind the young man, he coming back. So adding another piece to that good defense, man. Reedy Williams, the L Pitt, huh? So that's another guy to add to that stellar defense, man. At least have something to hang our hat on, because I don't know what the hell our offense goes.
That's another question to ask right there, because of course we were talking about LSU's ranking now, and of course a lot of people feel like they're being ranked too high, even though they're placed what they're at. But a lot of questions surround this year's version of the LSU Tigers. Remember last year they fired Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator. They reinstalled Ernst Sminger, who was there before Canada was there, with that vanilla style offense. Of course, he's talking differently now about what he wants to do with that offense.
So bad job the first time and get a second chance or a third chance, because Ernst Sminger been here for a while. So it's like, I don't get it. Like, how do we go to one guy and you want to get another guy because he didn't do the job right, and the other guy you get, y'all butt heads and you don't like him? It don't sound like he didn't know what he was talking about offense. It sounded like it was not a meshing of personalities or whatever. And then you just go back to the other guy that had you wanting to hire the other guy? Like, oh man, it's a big mess. And we got the same thing going on at quarterback. We got a quarterback, then we get a quarterback to transfer to come over here, then we lose 2 other quarterbacks because this quarterback then transferred to come over here, and then the other quarterback that we started at the end of last year, we don't know if he gonna start, but we brought the quarterback over here that made the other 2 guys lose. We don't even announce him as the starter.
It's getting close to the start of the season for the Tigers, and you bring up an interesting point. Should we be concerned the fact that LSU hadn't picked a starting quarterback? Obviously, it's going to be either 1 or 2 guys. Either it's Joe Burrow, the transfer from Ohio State, or it's going to be the guy that had last year who didn't look too impressive, Miles Brennan. So should we, as LSU Tiger fans, should we be concerned about the fact that Coach O and the staff have not chosen a starting quarterback yet?
So we're going to run 2 non-dual threat quarterbacks? That's what we doing here? The last time I remember LSU not picking a starting quarterback, and I can't even say that, because at least when Les Miles was here, he would pick a starting quarterback, but if you ain't do good, he sure would put the other one in. I think it's a big deal, man, that we haven't picked the starting quarterback, unless it's a tactic that we using to try and trick our opponents, because right now we need everything we can to try to make things happen. It's just not looking good.
All right. Well, that sounds pretty interesting, DC. That's very good. Bunch of good information right there. On the other hand, I think that when you're looking at with LSU, the most important position of the team is definitely a quarterback. Now, from what we've been seeing, Joe Burrow has the inside track, as it were. But Miles Brennan is a guy more familiar with the system. So might see a situation where Coach O uses those two quarterbacks. Now, there's questions all over the offensive line. There's questions about the wide receivers. There's questions about the running backs. There's questions, there's everywhere. The defense in certain spots are solid. Special teams, a lot of people anticipating them to be a lot better than what they usually would be. So that's the thing we're talking about here today, is whether or not LSU have enough to be able to actually put something together. Of course, I have in the mind saying they're going to struggle this year. Now, I'm an LSU man, but I'm just telling you how it is. I'd be really surprised this team even probably get a top-notch bowl. I'm just going to be honest with you. I think this team, Coach O is basically looking at that 2019 class. A lot of LSU fans are not going to hear that, but look at the team. Look at the team. Now, you got pieces on defense, but the offense is in complete flux. They still haven't chosen the quarterback. They got a very difficult schedule, the toughest in the SEC. I keep going back to the fact about Ernstminger reinstalling him at the offensive coordinator does not inspire confidence, because we've been there, we've done that, we've seen what that looks like, and that's why we brought in the Matt Canada deal. Get over yourself, Coach O. We should have at least kept the guy around or found somebody else. Maybe we could have bumped up the wide receiver coach or somebody that that has an idea. Shouldn't have been Ernstminger back in that spot. DC, what's your thoughts before we close it out?
Well, I agree, man. My whole thing with this, the one thing we can hang our hat on with LSU that we've always had, we always seem to have a consistent offensive line play and consistent defense. And if that trend continues, LSU could surprise some people. But at the current dynamic with things the way they are right now, I just can't see them getting past 7 wins, man. 6, 7 wins. If we get that, we should be happy because everything is in flux. But if you got a good offensive line and we got some skill players, because again, we don't know who we got as any of our skill players on offense. We don't know what we're looking at running back. We don't know how good our receivers going to be. We don't know if Ernstminger is going to institute actually giving the tight end the ball more. We got a solid tight end. Everybody's on potential right now. But what we do know is that the defense can perform, because a lot of them performed last year, and we got a lot of those guys back.
A lot of expectations. I think a lot of the Tiger Nation is not going to settle for 6 or 7 wins.
Well, yeah.
It's the Tiger Nation wants 9 or above. So we have the toughest schedule in the SEC. It's going to be interesting. And what do we do to deserve the toughest schedule? How Alabama don't have the toughest schedule? They don't want all the national. They should have the toughest schedule every year. I just think right now LSU has a lot of questions, a lot of expectations, and the fact that the decision making right now is really questionable. They haven't found out who the quarterback is going to be, which they should have done by now. Transferring quarterbacks right and left. The fact that they haven't been able to fix that quarterback position over some time. So, wow. As always, thank y'all for listening to the TSC Rapid Fire. You can go to our Patreon page, www.patreon.com/the PRO Media Network, and be able to donate. You can make one-time donation or donate on a monthly basis to help build the platform. Also, subscribe, share, and like the content for more content. And as always, from me and DC, thank you for joining us. Peace.
What's up, Sports World? The PRO Media Network is on a mission to reach 10,000 subscribers. So besides our regular programs like the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, the Pelican Post Game Report, Rapid Fire TSC, and others, we will be expanding out and offering other content like movie, anime, and gaming reviews for your entertainment. So if you enjoy our content, please donate at our Patreon page. Also subscribe, comment, and share, and help the PRO Media Network reach 10,000 subs. Peace.